option. They're going to grab first ban, first pick, and the blue side. And so we are also playing on live. So Draven is there with that smug grin. He is going to be available in Morgana
That
and
smug
Urgot.
look of self-satisfaction.
Yep, Urgot being the #1 banned champ out of MLG
Urgot's
this past
absolutely
weekend.
ridiculous. He's such a strong champion. If you don't play Urgot, learn to play him. I mean, he's so strong. You farm successfully bottom. You can control bot lane. You can shut down a lot of AD carries. You can try and shut down their farm early. With an aggressive jungler, the swap into an aggressive jungler, it's so easy to pick up kills in the laning phase and then early on in the game. As he progresses, you're just completely unstoppable with how tanky you are. Actually, while I was watching MLG this weekend, I had MLG up on one computer monitor. On the other computer monitor, I was playing in Go for LOL, just for fun, and I was playing Urgot, and one game it was like against an all like 2300 team, and so they had Kog'Maw. I was like, don't worry guys, I got this. And so I went Urgot, and I started like 4-0-6 as Urgot, and it's so easy to just completely shut down certain teams, and then when you have a really tanky team, it works out so well.
So, and Urgot's not he's not a traditional AD. I mean, he operates kind of differently, and it's not often you see an AD like him actually be up on the front line.
Beat of his own drums.
He does well. He crawls kind of. He's got those spider legs. You can't. It's kind of hard on spider legs to like effectively march, but still though he manages to get out there on the front lines anyway. And we're almost done with the bans here. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised to see Draven banned out here. Well, I think what do you think is the mentality behind that?
Draven is clearly OP. That's what else could be the mentality behind it? It's interesting. A lot of people have been trying Draven. We've seen a couple of games where some competitive teams have been trying Draven, and he has a lot of strengths to him. We just haven't really seen him work out that well. So the big thing is he has a lot of damage in lane. That's awesome. His W is spammable, so the movement speed and attack speed, again, that's awesome. His E with the disable, it's just really nice little disable in fights or for picking up kills in lane. The big thing is that, so he's really strong at like snowballing fights. If you already have a fight that's in your control and Draven can just, chase after people, hunt them down, very quickly you're going to pick up kills. The issue is that he can't like stand head to head with a team if it's going to be a long like battle fight. You need champions like Corki does very well against Draven, because Corki's just like, hey, I spam all of my abilities, I've got tons of damage coming out in front of me, and Draven's like, well, that's awkward, I have to run around and catch my axes. But we'll have to see. I don't know if that was kind of a joke, or if they know that one of these players plays a lot of Draven in ranked. But picking up the Karthus pick, definitely a strong pick. We saw with TSM and Reginald this weekend. He's been around forever, and people have always been saying how strong he is. So it's kind of fun to see him come back into play. And
not to mention Soraka Graves going to be picked up by SK, and Soraka, man, there was a period of time there where Soraka was just not too long ago where Soraka was just not really even considered. Everyone was so focused on grabbing Janna, and Soraka was there, really, in rare instances for sustain lanes. But for over the past few weeks, though, people have been remembering, you have the heal, you have the mana, you have the armor buff, you have the global heal, and people are once again reminded how much of a beast she can be behind a very good AD.
Yeah, and the big thing is, Soraka with a tanky team comp, having that armor buff, very quickly you're going to be unkillable late game. You can work against kind of burst damage teams very easily. But in bottom lane, it's so easy to, lane with Soraka. Like, when you're playing AD and you have a Soraka by your side, you can basically win every single lane matchup. Soraka can be vulnerable, to really aggressive lanes like Leona, and falling down to that. But basically, you just harass down your opponent. Slowly, you'll win, just because you have a Soraka heal, and it's just so easy throughout the game what she brings to the table. Corki and Jax, we have such a ridiculous late game team for Team Peculiar, and so Peculiar on the left, SK on the right. It's going to be really interesting to see how they kind of work this out, because it's so aggressive, but the Malphite, really strong counter pick, will work pretty well against Jax. The concern is how much magic damage both Corki and Karthus do to back him up.
Yeah, and then so Jack's top lane is going to need quite a large number of ganks, because Malphite top lane, he can be pretty. He'll shut down Jax pretty hard. But 1 or 2 ganks, and Jackson just go ahead and take absolute control of that lane. But still, though, picking Jax that early, it could it's left things open because they almost Peculiar almost considered a Vladimir pick, and that would have just really just solid put the lanes in place. Jax is still a little bit malleable. He can jungle, and they can put someone else in top lane. So the Olaf actually going to be the last pick for Peculiar. They may still swap. May actually see Olaf top and Jackson in jungle. We're going to have to find out. But there's still one more pick for SK. They're going for their mid. So you think, okay, mid versus Karthus. We saw MLG. I remember there's I can't remember which game it was, but there was a Casted and Karthus game that was actually really enjoyable to watch. And there you go. There's the Casted.
Hey,
I got it.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was TSM versus Dignitas, maybe? I don't know. I know there were a couple of games with Kassadin in play, and it is a pretty strong team. Both teams, definitely have a strong team. The Olaf pick kind of surprises me, but if he's very comfortable with Olaf as a jungler, Olaf is a very fast jungler against Alistar. Alistar is just such an aggressive ganker. Very early on, he's going to put a ton of pressure on mid lane in particular with Karthus. But then Olaf with his jungling speed, he could try and counter jungle some, try and set Alistar behind, because that's really what you want to do against Alistar. You want to be really aggressive with counter jungling. Kassadin versus Karthus should be pretty interesting. We have great initiation from SK, and having that assassination potential to try and burst Karthus down is definitely going to be huge.
But you can see here, SK, I can definitely see a mobile gank squad in the works, because you have Alistar in the jungle. It would not be too uncommon to start out with move 5 boots, just so you're a little bit more mobile. And once Kassadin grabs 6, once he grabs a Riftwalk, he's going to be able to leave mid and return quite quickly. So you can just go ahead and wander top, wander more likely bot to just go ahead and grab quick kills. And we've discussed this before. Karthus, not the most mobile of guys.
Right.
I mean, he's there mostly to sit in mid, to camp out, to farm, and just work in for the late game. Jax is very much the same way. And Corki, once he hits late, once he gets his Trinity, and once he starts stacking on that damage, he can just go ahead and be an absolute monster. But there's so many ganking opportunities here for SK. It may actually not get there.
Right. Yeah, and that is the thing. I did remember, actually, though. It was CLG versus TSM. Big Fat was running Kassadin. They actually had Nidalee top with X Hazard. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting comp. And the big thing is Kassadin versus Karthus. You would actually think kind of off the start in the early laning phase that Karthus would have a small advantage with his lay waste. Just whenever Kassadin tries to come in for farm, you throw down the lay waste, you try and get damage off there. But with the damage reduction, with the fact that when you're next to a minion, it's going to split damage with the minion, very easily it's not enough damage, and Kassadin can dodge around for a little bit. So Karthus really doesn't have enough damage to harass him down early in the laning phase. I mean, if he can land a couple of lay wastes very quickly, that could put on a lot of pressure. But then, like you said, having that mobility early is definitely going to be huge. Alistar mid is it's just so deadly, and Karthus is really going to have to watch out for that, particularly once Alistar hits 6, and we'll probably start seeing maybe some aggression where we see them just tower diving Karthus and just come right in behind him, tower dive him, throw off the Alistar ult, pick up a quick kill. They won't want to get too low, clearly, because it's, Karthus.
It's Karthus, that's what he does.
I don't know, we'll have to see. We have the Janna, so the movement speed for Olaf is going to be huge to allow, or for Jax, actually, just realized. So Jax is going top, and
yes,
this is actually...
a switch.
So that's actually why they picked the Olaf. So that was definitely a nice decision there.
So it was a little bait. It was a little bit of a bait. Is that we got this Jax. He's totally going to go top lane. No, actually, never mind. But Jax is just slightly not as fast as Olaf. He's still okay in the jungle. He's still got a pretty good speed. But the thing is, though, the ganks from Alistar, no matter who they put into jungle, are still going to be stronger than either one.
There was actually a game this weekend. I'm trying to. I know it was TSM versus. I want to say Dignitas, and it might have been CLG. I don't remember exactly, but it was Olaf Dyrus. He went bottom, and they sent their AD and support top, and Olaf, as a lot of times you can do that. You can send your bot lane top. You get that early 2v1 advantage, and you can work out the lane. But then Olaf as Dyrus, he actually kept basically even with the AD bot. It was called they were going against Cog and Soraka, I believe. So that's really aggressive at harass once Cog gets a couple of levels, but early on, not really so much. And so he was just kind of range farming with his cleavers, really being effective there. That would be cool to see. But the big thing is that Olaf, does a lot better against Malphite than Jax does. And as the game progresses, mid-game, both Olaf and Jax are going to be shut down by Olaf's attack speed slow, or by Malphite's attack speed slow, so they want to watch out for that. That's why Malphite is actually a really strong pick against Olaf. As the game progresses, Malphite can just completely take over the game. And early on, Olaf generally doesn't have enough damage in order to take down Malphite. Malphite can just be like, oh, you're slowing me, I'll Q, I'll run out of here. Or, if we're going head-to-head and you're going to auto-attack me, I'm going to throw off my attack speed slow. It's not going to matter. I'm going to, have enough damage reduction. I'm going to buy early armor. But the thing is, early on in the lane, Olaf has an advantage because he's a little bit more ability-based. You throw off the cleavers, you can, with Armor Pen, you can, pop that shield pretty easily, and then you walk up with the true damage. And early on, Malphite actually has really low base HP. So you get a lot of armor on Malphite, but you have low base HP, and that makes the true damage from, his E ability just that much stronger. So we'll have to see. I mean, as the game progresses, Malphite is just going to be such a monster. And I'm really, concerned for how Peculiar Gaming is going to handle the presence from Malphite and from Alistar as well. Like, that double initiation is just so strong.
Yeah. I mean, also, let's look at a comparison as well. Jax, if you're top lane, okay, and, one of the best things that you can do against Malphite is just, if you take away his shield, he gets, things, the game definitely changes. That shield regenerates on him naturally over time. But if you can get rid of the shield, then anything you get on him is going to be a little bit, harder for him to recover from. Jax, if you want to melt the shield, you usually just have to empower, leap strike, and that's a mana investment for not too much gain to just try and eliminate the shield. Olaf, all you just need to do is just walk up to him, reckless swing. There's no mana expenditure, it's just pure health, and it's just quick and easy for you, and very convenient for you to actually just go ahead and get rid of the shield outright. So
and Malphite has mana issues early on.
Yes, he does.
Another big thing against Malphite, if you can take down the shield, you want to be able to keep it down. So you don't want to let that shield regen, because then very quickly he's, clearly going to have a lot of HP in lane. It's the effective HP. But the shield is actually, it's a 10-second regen, whereas Olaf, he has the axes. It's 8 seconds, even if he's not picking up his axe. So very quickly, you can just, keep on spamming your Q, try and keep his shield down, slowly wear him down.
So right now, got Kevin, got Nif actually out in front. There is a ward in the line brush over by the race. They're going to be looking for the steal. Pings are going down from Peculiar into their bot Tri-Brush. There is a ward there. They just want to make sure that they're not going to be invaded anytime soon. They are a little bit paranoid about that, but the ward in the line brush will let SK know when their jungler is coming around. And, it's very... I like that spot much more than, usually you see a lot of teams ward right in front of the wraiths, not actually in the bush. But this way, if Peculiar has an inkling that their wraiths are warded, they still have to walk. You usually will still walk down through that part. They won't actually take the long way around, so they will still get vision if Jax just decides to go straight for red.
Yeah, I was actually excited for a second. I thought Jax might go for a fast invade because he didn't use his smite on the blues. So, instead
he's actually is going the long way around.
Yeah.
Smart coming in from the Jax here. And a Peculiar. Good job on Haxor.
Yeah, and one of the issues with Alistar is he's actually a pretty fast jungler. I think people kind of forget how quick he is. We see some quick damage from Graves, and so he's going to take some as well, but with the heal, he can come out on that. He is a little bit low right now, so he'll want to be pretty defensive. And they actually saw, with the ward up here, not only are they getting great harass down bottom, Peculiar actually doing really nice. They saw with the ward that Alistar skipped over his race and went straight for red, and that means you're going to have a fast level 3 at the red buff. Very quickly, you can get an aggressive gank up top, and that's usually the concern with the level 3 double buff. If you're going to get a gank, we do have just great harass, though. Actually, the exhaust going down onto Graves, they're going to be able to force him out of there. And in the meantime, we actually have Jax with the stun coming onto Kassadin as well.
Exhaust
the flash going to get away from that exhaust. But
exhaust is down on Ocelot. He just has to walk just a few inches, get to tower range, and he's going to be fine. He's going to be okay. But I'm so fresh in the mid with double buff. Karthus is getting a little bit too far out there. This could be a pretty dangerous zone for him to be walking around, and those waves are pushing. But top lane, Young Buck will actually go down to the Olaf. You can actually rewind just a few seconds ago. You can see that kill.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure Cassidon was going to be good, and or Karthus was going to be good. And the big issue is how much pressure Alistar's going to put up top. But
Yeah.
wow,
So look at
just
that true damage.
quick
That's it. That was
damage.
just all reckless swing. That was all reckless swing. This huge chunk being taken out immediately. The shield was down. There's nothing really that could have been done. And Youngbuck getting a little bit too far out there. But Haxor now going to be in pursuit of I'm So Fresh, the stun. He will be headbutted away, but bot lane Soraka actually getting really low. And Kevin is just now in a full retreat. Killor will not be able to get it. He actually does it, flashes in, trying to make something happen, but he is exhausted. He's going to be a little bit slowed.
That one attack almost taking him down with
Yeah.
the armor buff.
But Kevin, he's still hugging pretty close to tower. He's chugging health pots. Killor is still pressuring down bot. And there are pings going down from Peculiar. They're looking at Kevin.
Wow.
He was in single digits. I swear to God, he was in single digits after that. But Killor, he's going for it. He's getting his aggressive. Flash is down. Heal is still up. Can actually just go ahead and get there from behind tower. But there, the heal has been baited out. Kevin will fall. Get the shield or something from Janna. The tower still not able to kick her out. But here comes Alistar. Headbutt should be able to do something. There's the flash. Pulverize, not get it. But the headbutt will finish off the Janna. Killor, you've got a long distance to go. But one turret shot will deny you. You will be fine.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we see a gank up top. Just really quickly, they're able to put on a lot of pressure against Malphite. And just, I don't know, generally pressuring the entire map. The concern is getting Karthus farmed, but in the rest of the lanes, they're definitely doing their job. It's kind of a shame, to see them both going down bottom, but actually Alistar coming mid.
Coming through the mid, the headbutt. Does not get the pulverize, is waiting for it. He actually misses the Q, and Offig will have a little bit more time to try and retreat, but Ocelot is not too far behind, but he is not 6. He cannot flash, he cannot rift walk, and Karthus will go in the long way, actually get the safety.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised he didn't use the headbutt there right before Karthus turned the corner.
Oh. Nah, it's too much health.
He had 2 seconds left on his pulverize, and he wanted to, save up that time. The headbutt, it gives you like a 1 second disable. So 1 second disable, and then, if he pushes him away, he can maybe follow it up. But even so, that's just going to be such an aggressive lane. And the big thing is Karthus, he usually, can farm pretty safely from range. But if he starts pushing the wave, if Cassidon's playing defensively, he's naturally going to push. Then it puts him at his opponent's tower. And when he's at his opponent's tower, very quickly, he has the threat of the Alistar ganks. And, just that constant pressure that we're seeing will definitely hurt. But we're actually seeing, there was the speculation on the Reddit thread about Kevin moving down as the AD. Well, here it is. It is happening. And, he's done pretty well so far, but we do have a slight advantage for Corki. We have seen, some of that aggression that they've been putting on there. And in the meantime, Balloonatics, beating out Youngbuck top, doing a really nice job there as well.
Yeah, Olaf is doing pretty good for himself, all things considered. I mean, granted, the creep is even, but there's a kill on Olaf ahead there on the top lane, and Youngbuck knows he's got the fear of life put into him. He knows that he can't get too aggressive because the true damage is going to be a little bit too much. He's actually being chunked out still pretty hard top. So he's going to have to walk back. He's going to have to reconsider his options. And now Alistar getting some quick offensive wards. But the ward coverage from Peculiar, I fear, may actually be a little bit better and quite offensive in nature. Pretty much every entrance to SK's jungle has been warded. So if Alistar is going to be going out into the open, if I'm So Fresh is going to go for a leisurely walk, Peculiar will know about it.
Yep. And the nice thing with that ward, not only can they, keep an eye on Jax, but also if Karthus is trying to farm, he doesn't really have great mobility. So if you can actually get Karthus when he's on his way to the race, that's always a really nice ganking opportunity. But we see Alistar trying to be aggressive down in this bottom lane, and Jax is kind of sitting around. They did see him walk past there, so they know he's there. Well, the blue is up, so we'll see. Actually, they're probably going to be invading for this blue.
Yeah, Peculiar, they've got the timer on the blue. They know this is about the time where it respawns, and they know Cassidon as a champ in mid, well, actually both champs in mid, really extremely benefit greatly from having the blue buff. Karthus needs it so he can go ahead and continue to span the lay waste. Cassidon, if he goes into pursuit of someone, he uses quite a fair amount of mana, because if you keep him on rift walking, it's going to get more and more expensive. But Alistar may very well just keep it for himself, though. The risk is a little bit too high for Cassidon to come on over and attempt to grab it. But he's still being a little bit indecisive. He's still trying to finish it off by himself. The smaller lizards have actually been taken, but I'm So Fresh. He has the ward coverage, and he knows I can't keep this. I can't stave this off. They're going to go ahead and grab it from me. There's not a whole lot I can do. Haxor is going to go ahead and grab it. There is the headbutt pulverize coming from I'm So Fresh, but there is the Karthus ult trying to start the fight. Ocelot is here though, but right now Kevin will actually go ahead and get the kill on Corki. Will they get their blue buff back? Who's going to grab it? They're going to wait for Ocelot to actually grab the kill so he can take that back with him in mid, and now Jan is in a little bit of a pickle. Kevin is there in pursuit. Ult is down. He's not the highest on mana, but Jana will be able to walk away. SK gets their blue back, plus a dragon.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that they were so aggressive for that. And actually, Cassidy coming on to Failure and very quickly be able to pick up that kill.
Nice. Yeah, there's the ward right there in front of the raids. They knew Jana was getting a little unctuous, trying to get a ward to pick us some vision. No, not going to happen. Actually, she didn't even have any wards. What was she doing there?
I'm not really sure, but the difficulty is that they know Karthus was already low. Cassidy, Ocelot, he had kind of worn down Allpig a little bit. And so not only was Karthus low, Karthus doesn't have that kind of mobility where you can fight early game. Like, you can't just go walk into the jungle and be like, hey, guys, we're fighting. I mean, you can to a degree, but not, it's just a real weakness. So it was basically they were going in a man down, and they knew it, very quickly with the AoE, from Graves and with the knock-up and whatnot from Alistar. They were able to really quickly burst them down. Jack's trying to get the jump over to Janna, I feel, after, that fight happening.
Right.
Failure not really, on the same wavelength with them. So Failure, he is subbing in, and they weren't really able to, get that off. Jax is like, it seemed to me at least, I didn't know if it was on cooldown or not, that Jax is just sitting there like, hey, come on, Janna, I need a friend, I need a hop. But really quickly, the advantage has completely turned for SK. We did see Peculiar doing a really nice job early on, but that fight was just so devastating.
And everyone on SK just kind of went for a little bit of a shopping spree. Cassidy getting the Catalyst, looking for the Rod of Ages build, and a Doran's shield for some extra health regen, extra armor. That's, for someone who harasses quite a bit like Cassidy, I mean, it's not too surprising. Health is not going to be, all too high. The extra regen, extra health, I kind of like that pick actually. But for the rest of the team, Alistar grabbing a Philo Stone, Soraka going for the Heart of Gold first, which I agree with, going up against a Corki. He does do a little bit of true damage. You need as much health as you can get. And BF Sword on Graves. BF Sword on your AD carry is always a good thing, but there, Haxor getting a little bit overzealous there, jumping over the wall. The ward coverage was there, trying to get some damage on I'm So Fresh, but he's regretting the decision. Ocelot is there, trying to teleport over to get the quick kill, and there he will get it. And Ocelot now 2-0-2. A contributing factor to 80% of SK's kills so far. He's doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah, and the big issue is how quickly Cassidy can snowball. We do see some nice damage going on to Graves, though. We have the armor buff.
The Ignite, the exhaust going down right there onto Kevin. He will be chunked out pretty quickly, but now Nifins has to get away, trying to make the long walk back to turret. And a nice Monsoon coming in from Janna. But Karthus ult will be able to grab it, but Ocelot's nearby.
Though, we have Cassidy. He has the red buff, so very easily he's going to be able to chase this down. He does actually just bypass Janna there, so he wants to go straight for Corki. Very quickly he picks up that kill, and then he should be able to get out of there. Doesn't really have enough mana to chase down Janna. Janna's right by the tower. So 3-0-2. And just being able to snowball so quickly as Cassidy is absolutely huge. And they like we said earlier, they have the mobility advantage. So for the most part, Peculiar, they have to sit in their lanes. They have to just sit back and wait for team fights and wait until late game when they're hopefully really well farmed, since they have a really strong late game. But unfortunately, they're just not going to have those options. They can't get into this game right now because of how strong the roaming there is for SK. They have done a really nice job so far. It is very even, but they really have to watch out for that mobility on Ocelot.
Yeah, that and the initiation options from Peculiar, the damage is there. The damage from Peculiar is absolutely there. But when you look at SK, Alistar, Malphite, that's those two champs that they excel so well in initiating fights, and there's nothing really too pressing from Peculiar to actually try and escape those moments. I mean, when it does actually come down to it, it's pretty much mostly on Karthus. Wall of Pain and AoE when everyone tries to get in for kills, and he's gonna die so incredibly fast. I mean, Jax can only do so much with his stun. He can only do so much.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing they're going to want to do with Karthus, and it is a nice benefit, is the fact that the Wall of Pain is so strong, and that we have a very close range team for Karthus to wall, but unfortunately, here's the tower dive. Here was the concern, the Malphite ultimate into the Alistar headbutt and pulverize.
Combo coming in the Malphite ult. The Alistar headbutt's there, but Nif bot lane getting chunked out by Janna will actually go ahead and grab the kill, but Kevin's in pursuit. He's still hungry. He wants something. But look, the rest of the team is coming on by. Ocelot is there. I'm So Fresh is there. And yeah, there you go. It's not a whole lot doing. They're just going to go ahead and back off for a little bit. But man, the combo in mid, man. Malphite, ultimate, headbutt, pulverize. Karthus was just not going anywhere.
Yeah, the flash stun from Jax, really nice job there. And actually, Olaf and Malphite, fighting a little bit out here, and Olaf definitely has that kind of chasing potential. He's actually diving Young Buck, so he throws off the ultimate. He will get the cleave, the flash from Young Buck to get out of there. So he is going to be okay, but very quickly, Lunatics with the 2-level advantage is just crushing. And actually, Haxor coming down, can't quite get in range for Kevin. Doesn't get that follow-up stun, so they are still chasing. Will force him out of lane, but they won't be able to pick up that kill. But unfortunately, Olaf is definitely trapped up here. We have Kassadin incoming. I'm not sure whether or not Ocelot's going to have enough damage. Olaf is pretty tanky, but we will get the slow and see if Young Buck can get in there for the slow as well. Just barely out of range, but he's still chasing the Hex Drinker going off, so he is going to be okay.
I love that purchase. I love the purchase of the Hex Drinker this game, because you realize mid is pretty well farmed. Malphite does a pretty healthy deal of magic damage. That thing is going to pay for itself. But right now, the gold is still even. The gold is still ridiculously even between these two teams. And, Olaf is going to be one of the saving graces for Peculiar going on into the mid and going on into the late game. But, like I said, you got to get there first. Their damage possibility is there. But Peculiar needs to get to the mid-game and get to the late game in order to be effective. And right now, Ocelot is just going... He's just so well-fed at this point. 4-0-2. I would not be surprised if Ocelot, next time he backs, goes just straight up grabs a Mage Eyes. I would not be surprised.
And the big thing is, even when Malphite's behind... he's ahead. So Malphite, he doesn't really need that many items. I mean, you need a little bit of HP early on, but in the top lane, you're getting plenty of farm. We do see that they have the 4v5 advantage down here, so they will be able to pressure this dragon pretty easily, and they have a very fast dragon team, but we'll see whether or not SK tries to get in this. We have the Wall of Pain going off, so very quickly they take it. Unfortunately, the headbutt, and then coming in right into the middle of the entire team, the pulverize, but the Janna ult will negate some of that damage, and now with the exhaust, they're chasing down Kassadin, and actually Kassadin should be able to get out of there, but they're also splitting for the rest of the team, so they are completely split right now as Malphite comes in and very quickly will be able to pick up this kill onto Janna, and then Karthus is out of there as well. They were able to pick up that kill onto Alistar, but unfortunately they are all very low.
Peculiar is trapped by SK's Blue, and immediately Karthus goes down pretty quick. The ult will go down, may not do too much, but Young Buck is still a little bit caught out, but Killor is very low, and there's Ocelot with the Rift Walk and the flash to go ahead and grab the kill onto the Corki. The Q gonna get some extra damage on Hexer, and Kevin should be able to pick that up, and then there we go. Lunatics is trying to leave. The Hex Drinker shield will not be doing too much there against bullets.
Yeah, and you saw right at the beginning of this fight, they did split very early, and so half the team coming up here trying to chase them down. They forced out the Alistar ult, and then with the cleave, they're very easily the Jax actually over the wall. They're able to pick up that kill. Unfortunately, that's it, and it's just Alistar at this point, and they are all very low. They've already lost Janna, and with the follow-up from Ocelot, they're very quickly able to clean up the rest of this fight pretty easily. The Karthus ult does go off, so they do get one more kill, but just didn't really work out for them, but they do still, they kept fairly even. The issue is how strong Ocelot is right now and how strong he is going to continue to be as this progresses. So we'll have to kind of see. It does allow, SK to continue pushing a little bit. They do get some nice farm, but, regardless, nice play from SK picking up that ace there. Yeah,
so Ocelot, he's gonna bypass the Mage Eyes, as I thought we were gonna see, but it looks like he's gonna be going for the Abyssal Scepter. And Kassadin on his own with his passive already negates quite a healthy amount of magic damage as is. So that's going to help against the Karthus. It's going to help against the Jax. He does do mixed, but still though the heals even then from Soraka is just too much to handle now.
I actually thought we might be seeing Abyssal Scepter a little bit later from Malphite. It is a really common item in his build. The issue is he wants to get armor and attack speed, you know,
Right.
get that Frozen Heart as fast as possible. So getting the attack speed reduction when we have 4 physical carries for Peculiar, really quickly that's going to be effective in fights. So
Right.
Kassadin knows, okay, he's not going to be able to finish it in his build for a while. I'll go ahead and get it. The benefit of having it on Malphite is when Malphite initiates, you know, having that magic resist shred is just huge. But, you know, even so, it'll be perfect on Ocelot, like you said. So it's just going to be so much damage. We have, you know, everyone kind of sitting back. Karthus doing a decent job of farming. Unfortunately, Kassadin is completely fed right now.
Yeah.
And then even though, you know, Balloonatics, Olaf has just been crushing Malphite in the top lane, it doesn't really matter because Malphite is farmed as well and will be fine coming in these fights. We do see a fight going off, though. Alistar's coming in here.
The headbutt from Alistar is canceled out by the Tornado, and Jax is out there on the front line getting the stun off onto the Jax. But
and Ocelot is coming as well. The Destroyer, he's going to be coming over the wall. There's the slow, and there's the quick kill
Kevin
from
up
Kevin.
with the follow-up, the alley-oop. Janos is pushed a little bit too far back from the headbutt, but Kassadin is there to help clean up. And, you know, Kassadin, saw him earlier just chunk out a third of Karthus' health back in the mid.
Yeah, and actually, in the meantime, while this fight is going on, Jax chasing down Malphite just has so much aggression and, you know, trying to get that kill up. We actually have Malphite using the ultimate to just barely get out of there. So Youngbuck with really nice play to get out of there. And that's, you know, what you want. You want to just play kind of defensively. You know, they all kind of have to go back into lanes. But actually, he's turning right back on to Olaf. He has the Ignite as well. And so now forcing Olaf out once the shield was back up, he knew he had that kind of advantage. So really nice job there. And
the Maw on Olaf saved his ass. If he did not upgrade that when he did, he'd be gone by now. He'd be gone. The shield would have not been enough to mitigate all the necessary damage.
I actually didn't realize that the Maw upgraded the shield that much.
Yeah, it's because it used to be Hex Drinker's like a 150, 200 shield. Maw upgrades it to 400. And that was the difference. But Alistar in the mid, the headbutt, the pulverize against the forest wall, and Karthus just goes down immediately. Haxor's in trouble. Jax needs to get out of there. He's trying to lead strike. He's trying to be as elusive as possible while SK is there trying to dive them at their own tower. But there, quick and easy. The Q is just more than enough.
It didn't even matter. We had the awesome play from Haxor, you know, juking them out for a little bit, able to jump back. And so normally that would be, you know, a safe Jax, but Ocelot just has so much damage right now, finishing that Abyssal Scepter along with that Rod of Ages he had earlier. So, I mean, he's just dealing so much damage, it's tough to get away from him. We do see they are able to get that top turret, and they are still very even in gold. However, you know, Jax just has Cass has so much damage, it's going to be a concern. Getting the slow, actually missing the slow, so Corki barely able to get out of there with the Valkyrie. As the game progresses, if they can farm very successfully, then Jax is actually pretty strong against Kassadin, but actually Olaf running right into the middle of the enemy team will want to get out of there. Karthus actually following it up, though. Ocelot's a little bit low, but he's waiting.
He's waiting for his cooldowns to come on back up, but there Kevin getting the blast burst needed onto Olaf. He will die in the process. Karthus getting a few kills, but Ocelot is still there. He still has the potential to do a lot of damage, and just ripping over the wall to escape from Kill War. I'm So Fresh is actually pretty low, but Ocelot is not done yet. He's still got potential to do a lot of damage, and Karthus will pick up the Soraka kill, but Youngbuck is here, wants to make a difference, comes in with the ult, but Alistar and Kassadin are a little bit too low. I'm So Fresh may actually get killed. Yes! He does get the kill on the cow.
Malphite and Kassadin, they're angry. They're coming right in for Corki. The quick damage, able to burst him down. We have Karthus a little bit out of position now, and we'll see if Ocelot's coming back in. He's been kiting around the entire fight. The Jax stun is going to go off on the Youngbuck, but he has to get out of there. Ocelot actually has no mana, so he can't follow up.
Yeah, I mean, if he had the mana, and he had the timing, and if he had the positioning, 1E from Kassadin may actually be enough for a triple kill in that situation, but unfortunately he doesn't have it. He's going to have to go ahead. He's going to have to back. What is he going to pick up? I'm sure his wallet is just... I'm sure he's like dragging it behind him. He's going to get the needlessly large rod. That's going to be a death cap later. We may not even see it because right now he's just so fed.
And
he's just so fed.
The big thing is you saw with that last fight, so Jax, he does very well against Kassadin if you can get farmed. You know, the leap strike with the stun, very quickly you can burst someone down. You need to have that kind of hard CC to take down Kassadin. The issue is they don't really have any other follow-up disables, so if they can't take him down, you know, with Jax, and then with the Corky burst and whatnot, then Ocelot's going to be fine. You saw that entire fight. He's just kind of running around the outskirts. They can never focus him down. He's always just waiting, and because he has such a tanky front line, the physical damage versus that Malphite, because they're so tanky up front, Cassidy can kind of just wait around for his opportunities. He will get that Rift Walk out of there, so they will be safe, but almost walking right into the Jax there.
But also notice, mentioned before in Champs League Peculiar, one of their objectives was to just farm up, enter the late game, and BBs, because Jax, Karthus, and Corky in the late game can be so incredibly dangerous. Who's the most farmed? Who's the most fed on their team? It's the Olaf, one of the people who are supposed to be on the front line. Jax is 0-5. Corky is 2-5. It's not really doing a whole lot for him, and Ocelot just on his own is just carrying SK. That's just give the man a backpack.
And now, unfortunately, we have both Olaf and Jax getting caught up in this top lane. Olaf should be okay with his ultimate, but Jax is trying to get out of there quickly.
You're too far out there. He's trying to get the stun off in the bush, but the headbutt will be more than enough. Olaf is in pursuit, popped the ult to just try and zoom right towards the backline, but Ocelot will be elusive enough to get away from that one. Alistar trying to keep everyone CC'd in the rear of the fight, but Karthus ult is going down. Janna Monsoon will keep everyone just a little too far away, but Karthus ult will not be enough to get what he wants, but Ocelot is still getting in position. He wants another kill.
Yeah, and all they can do is run and hope that they're okay. They will get out of there, but even so, SK is just in complete control of the fights right now, and so they will be able to take this turret. They could potentially do Baron. The issue is that Cassidy doesn't really contribute a lot to Baron. Neither does Malphite or Alistar or Soraka. So, I mean, it's really just, it's down to Graves' damage. So it would be a very slow Baron considering he has the Bloodthirster instead of the Infinity Edge. They would keep high health, so they would be safe. But very easily, they can just continue pushing here. They will be able to get this outer tower. And then, we'll see. I mean, we have Olaf can clear waves pretty easily. Same thing with Karthus. So they can stall a little bit like that. Graves is only 525 range. So having such short range, it would make it very difficult for SK to wear down the towers while we see Peculiar defending, because then Karthus can just throw down his wall right on top of Graves. They can follow it up, pick up the quick kills. Kevin going to be able to get out of there, just barely not being seen by Karthus. But as long as they're winning the fights, which they are doing easily, they can just continue pushing that way. And we actually see really quickly Peculiar, wanting to see if they can come in on this mid tower, but unfortunately the rest of SK is there. The quick initiation from Ocelot.
The wave is more than enough to bring Karthus to half immediately. Alistar gets into the middle of the fight, waiting for the headbutts, waiting for the polarize. He does pop the ult, killing some time for Ocelot's cooldowns to come back up, and Niv is there just to help split out, and Ocelot will actually get the quick finish off onto the Karthus, keep him out of there, keep him stationary. In the meantime, Kill War is just in such a long, he's the longest road to try and get the safety, but no, the cow will finish the job. And yeah, SK now has complete domination of the jungle, of the lanes, and there's really nothing that Peculiar can do for the next few seconds. They can go ahead, they can take mid tower, they could take an inhibitor if they really wanted to, and if SK takes an inhibitor, that could mean Baron. That can definitely kill them enough time.
Oh, and they're actually maybe even going to dive this. Kevin taking some nice damage there, but they will be able to take down this tower pretty easily. We'll see with Ocelot's chasing potential. If they go on this, they should be safe. Olaf's pretty tanky, but the quick inhibitor, 10k gold up, and the fact that they have just so much mobility, and then the tankiness we actually have. They're going on to Olaf. We have the red buff, but there it is. The headbutt pulverize into Karthus, very quickly picking up that kill, and Haxor has to get out of there. The free inhibitor, well, maybe not so free. They, won it with a long hard fight. They're actually going straight for this Nexus tower. Kevin getting pretty low, but again, the headbutt pulverize, and they will want to get out of there. I'm so fresh, very close to going down, but they are slowly wearing down Peculiar.
There is the wish from Soraka to keep everyone topped off. Alistar should be okay, though. Haxor's still hungry for it. The pulverize will keep him at bay, but in the meantime, Corky's just trying to defend the best he can. Young Buck may actually still go down, though, so if there's going to be heroes, going to be him, but no, unfortunately that will not be. He goes down in flames, and there is the triple kill from Kevin and the ace from Young Buck, and that will be it. SK will be able to take down these Nexus turrets. Karthus is not going to do too much. If you're going to ult, you might as well do it now, but actually, never mind, because there's a surrender, and SK will go ahead and take game number 1 versus Peculiar.
Victory.
Yeah, really quickly, just some awesome play from SK. We saw some great early game aggression from Peculiar. And, Olaf was able to win that top lane with his, spam and with that true damage, very quickly beating Malphite up there. Unfortunately, as the game progresses, Malphite, he's just too tanky, and giving them that attack speed slow against a heavy physical team. They have the Kassadin, they can just hop around, pick off Karthus very easily. And you saw the fights were lasting very long because SK, they were just waiting for their opportunities very quickly. When they were able to find them, they just completely snowballed. And Ocelot, with the early kills, the entire game was his.
And when they get their opportunities, you just see everyone immediately just zooms in right in on Karthus. And it got to the point later on, as mid-game Kassadin with just the wave and the Q combo alone were able to shave off a third of Karthus' health. Later on, it just got progressively worse. As later on, the combo just started to take out half his health and then 2/3 of his health. And at that point, just Alistar Headbutt was able to finish the job on its own. It was just they had their focus right. Karthus was a little bit too out of position for a lot of those fights. But thing is, that's the thing. Peculiar's comp, they wanted the late game damage. They were expecting Karthus and Corki and Jax to get farmed, but it never got to that point.
Yeah, so we'll have to see, coming into this next game, what's going to happen. But I don't know, very quickly, if we're going to try and run that Karthus again, I think we may ban out the Kassadin. We'll have to watch out for that if that's the case. It's definitely a serious concern, or maybe not, run that same comp.
I don't think Kassadin's going to be coming out unless
it's probably just not running the same thing.
It was picked because the Karthus was picked.
Right.
I mean, if anything, I would ban out the Alistar because just those ganks were just so dangerous.
Yeah.
Those ganks were just so absolutely dangerous from Alistar.
Yeah.
And then you saw Malphite coming down from top lane. We got a little combo action, nice 4-hit combo to dead. Wonderful, wonderful play. But we're gonna go ahead and see what happens. Game number 2, SK versus Peculiar, IPL5 EU qualifier number 2. We'll be back in just a few moments, so do please stay tuned.